Hey and welcome. Brink-Castleberry here with JustAskKim.com, and today I want to introduce you to one of my absolute favorite ways to improve the Facebook newsfeed. Now, you might have heard me mention fluff busting purity before, otherwise known as FBPurity, because I've used it extensively for over 2 years. And even with all the Facebook changes that have happened, it has been a very important part of my ability to maintain my sanity in the Facebook newsfeed. Now, from time to time, of course, Facebook manages to make changes that temporarily break it. But all in all, the developer behind it is really fantastic and does a great job of supporting this little browser add-on. So I really want you to take a look at this and look at how you can use it to really filter out your newsfeed a bit and make it a lot quicker to get through, so you're not slogging through quite so much every day and so that you're having to tie up a little less in social media. I think you're really going to like this. Let's take a look. Here I am on FBPurity's fan page, and I'd like you to start here because this lets you keep up to date on news going on with the add-on for your browser. Whether you're using Safari or Chrome or Firefox, it works for all of them. But if you're here and you're a fan of the fan page, you'll get updates about when Facebook breaks stuff or when things are changing or when he'd like somebody to beta test stuff. So start here, like this page. Now, let's go take a look at the add-on itself. We're going to go to this little link that says FBPurity.com, and this takes us to a page that, when it opens, is his website or his blog site, you could say, although there's no real blog here. And here is a link that just says Install FBPurity. I'm going to click this. And when you click this, now it's running a little slow because I got Camtasia running. It's going to ask you which of these 3 browsers you're running and whether you're on Firefox, Chrome, Safari, or Opera. It's going to attempt to auto-detect, and usually it's pretty good, but if it doesn't, just click the one you got. Unfortunately, it doesn't yet work with a lot of the mobile versions of the browsers, which I really miss. I use the Dolphin HD browser in my Android, and I would love to have FBPurity working in the mobile browser. But hopefully we'll get there one of these days, all right? Be sure to donate if you enjoy this plugin. Helps with additional development. Whether you're in Firefox or Chrome, it's either an install here or a little different one for Chrome, but either way, you just install it and tell it that yes, it can install and yes, it can have permissions, okay? And at that point, Firefox may or may not want restarted. Chrome won't need restarted, but Firefox may ask you to restart. Kind of depends on how it installs. But we're going to go back, and you're going to need to refresh your news feed. So like click a little refresh button in the browser. And once you've refreshed, you're not going to immediately notice anything different, except for that right here at the top, right under this box. So you might highlight over this. You're going to see this little filter. And it says FBPurity, that it's hid 5 apps and that there's 4 extras and you can show them. Now, this only applies here, but it also usually he gets it working on fan pages and stuff as well. It's not working at the moment due to timelines and stuff. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But I use it mostly for the news feed. And let me show you why this is important. We're going to click on the FBPurity link. And here, if let me size this up a bit so it's a little less cluttered. Let me close that. Oh, that didn't help much. Okay. Let's try this again. So here you have this center box. Well, if I get a group box out of there. And this little box is all the settings for this particular add-on. Now, I know this looks overwhelming, but don't let it frustrate you. First of all, you can't break it. It's real easy. There's a reset to default ability. We got an export and an import and all kinds of stuff that makes it real easy to use. And if for chance something gets really, really screwed up, just uninstall the add-on and install it back. It's all good. I've used this over and over and over again for years and love it. Let me show you what you can do with this. In your newsfeed, you have all these additional events. You have items such as questions and so-and-so became friend with, and so-and-so liked a page, or so-and-so joined a page, or so-and-so is attending an event, or so-and-so created an event, or they changed their profile picture, or they changed their relationship, they shared a photo, they got tagged in, they tagged, they uploaded, they were tagged by. They read an article, the Facebook actions. They commented on or liked links. They posted a note, were tagged in a note. I mean, this list goes on. This is all the stuff we see in our news feed, right? Well, one of the quickest ways that you can help thin out your news feed is to remove the items you don't want to see. So for me, I don't generally want to see became friends with. I don't want to see liked page or became a fan. I don't want to see joined group. I don't want to see attending an event, or I don't want to see attended an event. I also generally click this read an article, this FB actions. That'll get rid of a lot of the newspaper ads, the newspaper, like the Wall Street Journal, that auto posts every time somebody reads an article. Now, I don't approve those apps, so those links aren't helpful to me because I would have to go find that URL manually, because if I click the link, it's going to ask me to approve the app, and I'm not approving that app because I'm not spamming my friends with all that crap. You know, I'm trying hard to get the crap out of my news feed. I'm not putting more there for most people. You can look at this list, and there's all sorts of things you can remove. Then you also have options under the More options here to hide portions of the interface. Now, rather than the stuff that's in the middle news feed, this is portions of the interface. We can hide the application messages. We can hide the sponsored boxes. If you want to hide who's running sponsored ads, not the ads themselves, but the sponsored section. We can hide the news ticker. Not as important as it was, since we now have the little collapse feature for the news ticker, but it's right there if you want to hide it. We can hide offline friends in chat. We can hide the events box. We can hide the chat box altogether, although that doesn't necessarily mean it'll stay offline, because it still has that offline bug. We can hide the comment button if we don't want it to show up. We can set certain colors. We can make the font larger. Here's one I do, this font 13. You'll notice that if I click that, once I click save, it's going to make the default font in Facebook bigger. This is really helpful if you have eye strain issues, if you're at the computer a lot, or if you just happen to be older, and a larger font is very helpful. I like this over having to do like Control++, or, you know, scroll my mouse wheel in, things like that, because it doesn't affect other pages, and it tends to stick really well, and it tends to behave. So this is often where I pull up the font, and there's other ways to have it sort. There's a lot of different options here. Now, the next one that I like over here is the custom filter text. By default, the news feed will filter out most of the apps, but you'll probably notice, particularly if you're working in social marketing, that there's a lot of apps that people use that really are not on the platform, and they can create a lot of clutter that you don't want to go through, particularly if you're already reading those blogs in your Google Reader. If you subscribe to those blogs, if you get them in your Google Reader, or if you get them in the, one of the other community groups, and if you're already getting them in your news feed, again, is duplicate to you. So what you can do is you can start to find the little tag on them that says what they were posted by. Like this one was via network blogs. And you can type that in here, one per row, and it's going to shove all those into a filter for you. You're not going to lose them. You're going to have the ability to get to them, which is really nice in case you're afraid you're going to miss something, but it's going to take them out of the default view. And I do this with all sorts of things: network blogs, Empower Network, Ping, Hootsuite, Twitter, likes. You can also put mentions of stuff in there. For example, in the U.S., the political season is running hard, and there's a lot of people that would rather not see political commentary. If you would like to see posts about different candidates and different political issues be hidden into that filter, put them in here, again, one per row, and that will cause them to go into the filter, and you just won't see them. It really helps clean up the newsfeed. So as you see, there's a lot of options here. One thing of note is if I scroll down a little bit, I'll see that there's an export settings. And I usually set this up in one browser, and because I use multiple browsers throughout my workflow, I work in two different browsers for a number of reasons. I export my settings in one and then import them into the other, so I don't have to reconfigure this all the time. Also helps just to have an export backup, just in case your browser ever goes wonky and you need to restore all this, because you'll find that once you get used to having this add-on, you're going to wonder how you live without it, because it adds so much sanity. It really does. They say that they decrease the noise and increase the signal, and that's really true. And I don't know how I'd get along without this little thing. I used to have a half dozen Firefox add-ons to make this happen, and now I've just got the one, which is fantastic. I'm going to click Save. And here we're back in the newsfeed. I'm going to refresh that real quick, just so it goes ahead and gets the things I saved. And you're going to see it come up. And you see that the font size has come up to that 13 that I set. I happen to like a 13. It does create a little width issues of sorts, but it's not bad, and it's a lot easier on the eyes. You might find that a different number works well for you. Now here we have the filters. I have 5 apps that are being hidden by the default app filter. This is the one that it creates. And so it has hidden this stuff. This was posted by Social Flow. See, this was posted by this app. And then come on down, and this was posted via I Love Funny Pics. And this was actually something I posted via Feed Blitz blog update. That's fine. And this was let's see, you see that it gets a lot of them. This was posted by FB Connect Test. And by default, it's going to get a lot of the apps, and it's going to shove them over in this filter for you. And this, by default, whoops, come back here. Okay, we see you got more than 5. It's actually got 26. It takes it a minute to load the page. The first time, as soon as the page loads, the page will not be filtered. It takes it just a moment. So if you'll give it just a moment to let it do its thing, it really filters the page out. And then in the extras, these are things that we filtered. So if I can click Show here, I can have it, whoops, it'll come up in a second. The browser's being sluggish. I can see, well, I clicked it twice. I got impatient. See, I didn't have the patience. Here's the Ping FM that I filtered out, and a lot of Ping FM, a lot of Ping FM. Here's the Hootsuite that I filtered out. Remember all those words that we put in that text box? This is the ones that we filtered. And so we can see them. We have them here, but we don't have to come here. Okay, we don't have to come into these filters. And so if I come back, whoops, don't go there. And so to come back, you come back just to the newsfeed. Click back on the newsfeed. And so this gets you out of these filters and into the main feed. And you can see it's going to count up as it hides stuff for you. And this gives you a nice filtered flow. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down this, and I'm going to see if I missed anything. Okay, most of what I see looks really good. This looks like stuff I need to be seeing. I don't see anything here I really want to filter out, but there's certainly things I could. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. Let's see. Actually looks really good. Like I said, there is some more settings in there. You can check all those boxes that you want to get rid of. You can get this down so that you don't see when people engage with pages. You can get it down so that you don't see a whole lot of things. You can get it down so you don't see, I mean, here's William sharing a link. Now that's probably a really good link, and I'm leaving it. But if I wanted to filter that out, I could get those out of there. And you can get this down really tight so that it really is the most relevant content to you. And what you'll find is that by letting it filter out, what has it gotten here? Oh, it says 5, but I know it's got more than that. If you let it filter out those 20 or so items, you're going to have to scroll a lot less. You're going to spend a lot less time trying to make sure that you catch up with all the important stuff. And it works on your lists as well. And so even if you filter people down into your list, this goes one further and removes all the junk so that you make sure that you're seeing when something really important is going on in people's lives and the stuff that you want to see. So one quick thing is over in Chrome. Here's Chrome. Now in either browser, sometimes you're going to see this little blip here that says update. And it's going to ask you to update the extension. When you click that, it's going to bounce you out to the extension. It's going to ask you to please update. See, it recognized that I'm on Chrome. I'm just going to click install. This is how it installs, but it's also how it updates. I click OK, and add. And it says that it's been added. Very cool. I'm going to go back, and it needs to refresh. If it doesn't refresh on its own, it should refresh. Let it come up. Okay, it'll be good here in a second. And now it'll come up, and it won't get that little update icon that'll tell you that it needs you to go manually update it. A lot of times it's going to automatically update itself. It's getting better at that. We used to have to manually remove it and update it. Now it's getting better. It's getting smarter. He's doing a really good job at developing this application. So be sure to tell him thanks, because you're going to get a lot of benefit out of this. All right, that has been the FBPurity app. It is a browser add-on for Firefox, Mozilla, Opera, Chrome. Not mobile browsers yet, but hopefully soon. And I hope that you give this a try. I know you probably are kind of resistant to having one more add-on to your browser to deal with Facebook. But this one is such a Swiss Army knife. This is such a all-in-one tool that's really going to save you time that I really want you to take a close look at that. All right, this has been Kimberly Castleberry, and I hope you enjoyed this simple tech tip for marketing. I'll talk to you soon.